Friends, today's our topic is placenta. Till date, we have read what is blastation, what is gastrulation, and this topic is again for class 12th medical stream. In blastation, you have seen how this cell division is taking place, and after the formation of blastula at the stage of 64 cells, it gets embedded with uterine wall, and that process at a time we have read it, and that process is known as implantation. And after getting implanted, it again go through next divisions, redivisions, arrangements, rearrangements, and moment morphogenetic moments of cells in the process of gastrulation, thus forming many three types of these embryonic layers, that is endoderm, mesoderm, and ectoderm. And these three embryonic layers, they are forming all the body parts of the developing fruits. So that was this gastrulation. But all that blastula, that implantation, that gastrulation, that will move on, that will take place, that will develop only when there will remain a connection between the developing fruits with the mother, because only then this developing fruits, this embryo or developing fruits, will be in a position to get materials, nutritive materials, and other parts, these oxygen, gases like oxygen, etc., which are very much necessary for its life. So this is placenta actually. So placenta, which is actually our today's topic, what placenta is. So placenta is the intimate connection between the fruits and the uterine wall of the mother. Rather, we may say this is the intimate connection between the fruits and the mother. And this intimate connection which lies between the fruits and the mother, it provides all the necessary requirements like nutritive materials, like oxygen, like removal of carbon dioxide and other excreta from this portal side into the mother's blood. This all taking place through this connection, and this intimacy or intimate connection is known as placenta. So students, actually, let's have a look here. There's a diagrammatic representation. So this is our developing fruits inside the mother's womb, and these are the two openings of fallopian tubes. And here in gastrulation we have seen that chorion is formed. Chorion is formed by the extraembryonic, somatoextraembryonic mesoderm and trophoblastic cells, and it is actually this chorion which is forming the basis of embryonic placenta. So this placenta is actually formed from this chorion, and hence this placenta here, it is known as chorionic placenta, because it is getting its base, it is getting its formation from chorion. And chorion, as I have already told you yesterday from in gastrulation, that it is formed between by the trophoblast and extra embryonic mesoderm. And similarly, we have talked about amnion there. Amnion is again the covering, it is the cavity which is surrounded by amniotic fluid, and it provides protection to the developing fruits. It regulates its body temperature, and it also prevents it, and that is, it prevents this fruits from desiccation. So desiccation, actually, it means dryness. But today here we may focus constantly upon this placenta, as our main topic is placenta. So I have told you students that this chorion, it is taking part in the formation of placenta, hence it is also named as chorionic placenta. And later on we may see that this chorion, this gets developed into a number of finger-like projections. This chorion then develops a number of finger-like projections which are known as chorionic villi, and that is why this is known as chorionic placenta. And these chorionic villi, they penetrate deep inside the uterine wall of the mother. When these chorionic villi they grow, they penetrate deep into the uterine wall of the mother, thus forming an organ which is known as placenta. So placenta, they are actually, it is actually basically it is formed from chorion, and chorion later on develops finger-like projections which are known as chorionic villi, and they penetrate deep into the uterine wall of the mother and thus forming an organ which is known as placenta. So our placenta, it is actually made of two parts, one foetal part or this and the other maternal part or mother's part. And the mother's part here, this is foetal part, chorionic part, and this is mother's part. And this mother's part of placenta, maternal part of placenta, it is known as decidua bacillus. It is known as decidua bacillus. And now let us try how this placenta it functions. So actually these chorionic villi, they penetrate so strongly, they invade so strongly into the uterine mucosa of the mother that they show their direct existence with the mother's blood. That is, these chorionic villi, they penetrate so deep and so strong that they are directly bathed with the mother's blood. And the blood vessels lying inside these chorionic villi, when they are bathed directly with the mother's blood, and it becomes very much easy for these foods to receive the supplements, nutritive supplements, oxygen, etc. from the mother side through this blood stream by bathing its embryonic villi directly into the mother's blood. And these vessels, they catch these things by diffusion, etc., and then carry it to the foods, to the developing foods. Now, students, you have to remember one more thing, that here, as these embryonic villi, they remain directly in contact with mother's blood. Hence, this placenta have also got its name as hemochorial placenta. Hemo means direct connection with blood. Chorial means it is existence is from chorion. So, hemochorial placenta. Hemochorial placenta is the placenta which have its direct connection with the blood. That is why this placenta, in case of humans, it is known as hemochorial placenta. Now, next important point which you have to remember here is that after receiving the nutritive supplements, oxygen, etc. from the mother's blood by these chorionic villi, they are being carried to the foods, but again there occurs a bridge. There is the existence of a bridge between this placenta and the foods, and a tube-like structure, a cord-like structure, and that is known as umbilical cord. So, if this is our placenta, and these are chorionic villi, and by carrying all these things from the mother's side towards these foods, in between them there is a bridge, there is a cord, there is a tube which is known as umbilical cord, which connects the foods with the placenta. Thus, this umbilical cord, it helps all during the transportation of these nutritive elements, oxygen, and removal of carbon dioxide and other excreta from the food. So this umbilical cord is very much important, and it is a bridged tube between the placenta and the developing embryo. And now, students, let's have a look upon certain functions of this placenta. This was all about this placenta, and that is, it has two parts, one maternal part, one this foetal part, and how it got its existence, how it is formed, and how it make its penetration inside the mother's womb, and how it gets the nutritive materials and all other necessary gases like oxygen for its existence, for its life, and for this further development, and how it is all being transported to the forced by this umbilical cord. Now let's have a look upon these functions. So the main function of the umbilical cord, it is nutrition, that all the nutritive materials are being supplied from the mother's side to the developing foods through this placenta. This is the first and foremost function of the placenta. And the next function of the placenta is that oxygen is very much important for its life activities, for its development, as you know. So this oxygen is again being carried from the mother's side to this development, to this developing foods through this placenta. And the carbon dioxide, whatever is formed here in these developing foods, it is again being taken out from this placenta to the mother's blood. And thirdly, the excretory material, whatever is formed inside this foods, it's again being drained out from these foods through this placenta into the bloodstream of the mother. And nextly, an important function which the placenta is performing, it is that it acts as a barrier between the mother and developing foods. That is, it allows only the necessary things to pass through it and not the all. The necessary things, the necessary substances which are very much important. Nature have provided a protective covering inside this placenta. That is, it only allows the necessary things which are must for its development to pass through and not the others. And lastly, the next important function which this placenta does, that it releases many hormones. As you have you are also already knowing the names of estrogen, progesterone. They are being released by this placenta. Here, the estrogen, it help in the organ formation, and similarly progesterone, it help in the formation of uterine, development of uterine wall. And then HCG, that is human chorionic gonadotropin hormone, that is also a hormone which help in the pregnancy, in the carrying out of pregnancy. And then there is next hormone which is HCS, that is human chorionic somatomamotropin hormone, which is actually the hormone which help in the growth of mammary glands for the mother. So when the mammary glands are being activated inside the mother in order to produce the milk, because this force after its parturition, after its delivery, needs milk for its further development. So HCS, the human chorionic somatomamotropin hormones, they are being released by this placenta, which activate the mammary glands of the mother, which stimulate the growth of the mammary glands of the mother. And in addition, it also releases another hormone known as relaxin. So relaxin, what it functions, this is also an endocrine hormone, and this relaxin relaxes the pubis symbiosis, uterine wall of the mother during parturition, during delivery, in order to provide an ease during the delivery. So these were some important functions what this placenta does for the developing foods. And this is the simple diagrammatic representation of developing foods and this chorionic villi and the decidobacillus blood, etc. So students, this was all about today's topic. Hope you will have understood it very well. For any query, do message me on my number which is already lying with you. Thank you.